Good afternoon. Time for another Mike's Moment. Today we're going to talk about something we're getting frequent calls on the agency, if not weekly, almost daily, and it's definitely an increased point of emphasis in the insurance industry, and that is roofs on your homeowner policy. We had talked in an earlier segment, I'm not going to repeat all that, about pressures with carriers and how some of them are pulling out of the market and different actions being taken, but today I wanted to really talk about roofs and what's going on and strategies for you to deal with it. So, technology. Commonplace in the industry, carriers are using drones, airplanes, satellites, and the imagery from them to evaluate current clients as well as prospective clients as far as the condition of the roof. And they're looking for hazards, what they identify as hazards or issues. Those hazards, this is not by any means an all-inclusive list, but the definitely common ones are the following. Number one is tree limbs. Tree limbs over the roof, tree limbs, branches touching the roof or on the side of the house. That's problematic, and we'll talk about why in a moment. Another common one is streaking in the roof. That's can be indicative of the roof being in a degraded condition. And then along with that, gutters full of debris, that's problematic because if they're full of debris, they're not draining the water properly, and that can lead to the water backing up in the gutter into the fascia board, into the house, and causing problems. They're also, it's not concerned with the roof, but at the same time, they're seeing hazards such as debris in the yard, unlicensed vehicles, other attractive nuisances, and all of these things are being picked up by imagery. And then what happens is in the state of Virginia, it's perfectly legal for a homeowner company to non-renew a policy. They can't cancel it midterm. We're talking about the end of the policy period. To simply say we are not going to renew your policy. They have to give you 30 days notice, and it's going to be in writing. And we usually receive a little bit earlier notification, but then we can reach out to you. The good news is these things are not etched in stone. There's typically a list of items that the insurance carrier is concerned about, and then there's the way you can remedy them. The most common and the easiest remedy is the tree branches. The tree branch is on the roof, it's on the roof. If there's a big limb over the house, prune it back. You don't necessarily have to take the tree down, but prune it back. And we send in a picture, and that typically is enough for the underwriter. The streaking is a little more problematic. It's a little more nuanced. I've been told by a number of qualified roofers that I trust that are well educated in roofing materials that streaking doesn't necessarily indicate that the roof is in poor condition. I understand all that, but the carrier is looking at streaking, that's a good sign that the roof could be degraded. So ultimately, it's on the homeowner to prove the roof's in good condition. So how can you remedy it? You can have the roof cleaned, which some argue actually accelerates the degradation, whether it's power washing or chemicals, or the homeowner can pay for a licensed roofing contractor to come out and evaluate the roof in writing. They're not going to do it for free. You're going to have to pay for that. But it's usually a 1 or 2 page report, and the report's going to not only list the inspector and his qualifications, his or her qualifications, but it's going to talk about the roof material. What year shingle is it? The pitch of the roof, its condition, if there is any streaking, what's causing it, has it degraded the shingle. So with that substantive report, we can present that to the underwriter as long as the information is favorable, and that's usually enough to overturn the non-renewal. Or the roofing inspector might say, hey, this is a 30-year shingle, you're on year 25, it's definitely time to replace it, and that's definitely not going to be information that's going to overturn. Which leads us to the whys. So we talked about limbs and how that can impact, and we've talked about the streaking and the water backing up in gutters and the other hazards. But all of this is about roofs and the cost of them, because what the insurance industry is trying to do is contain costs. I don't need to tell you about inflation, we're all living it, and there's claims pressure to make sure that claims aren't being paid for that shouldn't be, which leads me to a little bit of an opinion where I think this is headed, because it's already started in some states, where your roof is going to be treated, this is opinion, this is not in Virginia yet. I think this is where it's headed, but this is in other states, where your roof is going to be treated almost like your car. It's going to be on your homeowner policy, but if you have a claim with your roof, they're going to depreciate the roof. So if you have a 22-year-old roof and it's got a 30-year shingle, then they're going to depreciate it, the 22 out of the 30 years. So it's not going to be much of a claim check. Also, please know that it is absolutely dependent on the type of roofing material you use, because everything I just said is, other than the tree limbs, is going to be different if you have a metal roof. Metal roofs last much, much, much longer than an asphalt shingle, especially if they're in good condition and properly installed. So ultimately, if you have a question about your policy, roofs, different things you can do, what carriers are not, give us a call. We'll be happy to review your current policies, whether you're a client of ours or not, and discuss what's going on in the marketplace and give you strategies to deal with it, and so that you're not backed into the corner at the 11th hour and have to do something out of desperation. That's what we're trying to avoid. Jump on it early, and we'll be here to help you. Please give us a call. Mike Arnold Agency, 434-295-2692, or you can email us at info@mikearnoldagency.com. Thank you. Have a great day.